weaving. Bobbing and weaving.
Yep. All right. So cool. We're live on both. All right. So yeah, what we're going to talk about today is making sure you have the right art business strategy. Okay. And I specifically wanted to talk about this one today because I've been doing a lot of thinking on this, and I've been doing it, based on obviously we've talked to thousands and thousands of photographers and artists. We have 3,500 members that are photographers and artists at Art Storefronts, right? But you and I have been doing these Zoom calls with non-Art Storefronts members, right? So it's really, really interesting. And here's why. So to give you guys the context, for the last couple of months, Patrick and I have been running Zoom sessions with non-Art Storefronts members to help them with their, what they believe their biggest struggle is, okay? Now, this is really interesting because the members that join Art Storefronts, they already know what I'm about to tell you, okay? They've already solved the problem. They already have the right art business strategy, and that'll become clear in a second. But it's the setup of your business, the way that you think about the business and your strategy overall, the way that you approach it right from the start, right? That is proving to make, the biggest difference in everything. And so I'll tell you what I mean by that. So up front, right? If you're going into war, right? You would not go and fight a battle if you knew that battle plan would fail up front, right? Yeah. Common sense. However, as you and I continue to talk to people, they have started their, art or photography business, or sometimes they have been running it for a long time. And they have had the wrong strategy the entire time. And it's actually the thing that's been killing them, right? It's literally as simple as this one thing, all right? So up front, you need to make sure that you have your strategy right, okay? The first part of it. And that is selling indirect or selling direct, okay? You need to make sure that you are selling direct, that 80 to 90% of your sales are coming from direct business, okay? I'll just summarize it really quickly. Direct business is when you're doing your own direct marketing, your own direct sales, you own your customer list, and you make the most money from your artwork, and nobody can take anything away from you because you own all of it, right? Yeah. You are not dependent on any third parties to make sales. Indirect is when you are selling through third parties. In other words, galleries, publishers, whether they're online or off, okay? What happens with the indirect and the third parties is the rug eventually always gets pulled out from underneath you, as many people learned the hard way during this pandemic, right? So up front, if you have not been focusing on building a direct business, if you never heard those words, which is what we're finding that this is like, nobody's ever been told this, right? Yeah. Now this is common sense.
Conceptually, it's never taken hold.
No, it's never taken hold. And we're asking people, I'm like, have you ever heard of this? Because this is common sense in entrepreneurship. And the answer is no. And what I normally am finding here is that, like, whether it's from the galleries or it's from publishers or from or even friends, they're friends in the art industry. Everybody thinks that the indirect way is the way that you're supposed to go. Not that you need to go, the way that you're supposed to go. And it's the source of the starving artist problem. I just told you right here, guys. This is the source of the starving artist problem, okay? Is building your business on third parties that give you a 1099 check. You own nothing in the end. And then the rug can get pulled out from underneath you, and see you later, you got no business anymore, or you've been significantly hurt by it, right? So, okay, first thing, you gotta get that right, okay? Now that you're like, okay, I got that right, I understand it, I'm gonna build a direct business, all right? Now we've talked to some people that are like that. Who are those people, Pat, on our lives or on our non-member Zoom sessions? It's the gal who is already selling $20,000 a year from her website, right? Okay. It's the guy who's the photographer who's selling, $10,000 or $5,000 or $50,000 from his website. It's those groups of people, right? They're already selling direct, but they're not properly equipped, right? They're not properly equipped. And so they kind of just bumble around. Like, you remember Gonzo? Remember Gonzo? He's a member now. But Gonzo, he's doing pretty well with his sales, right? But he was not properly equipped. So he's, outsourcing his printing. He's doing his own printing. The gal that we talked to the other day, if you remember, she's handling her own printing, right? She's like running around. She's like, this is a disaster. I got a local printing company. I'm running to him to get prints made. I'm come back. There's all these different things that are in there. And so they're not properly equipped. And so they're stumbling in there, and it's harder than it needs to be. It's like pushing a cart uphill, right? And when I say they're not properly equipped, it's not necessarily about, the print fulfillment. That's the big problem. It's actually like, number one, having the proper art gallery website, and then having an ongoing solution to the marketing problem. The marketing problem, you have to have an ongoing solution, because the marketing is what's going to get you more eyeballs consistently over time, which is going to turn into more leads, which is going to turn into more sales, right? So those are the things. So it starts off by having the right strategy up front, understanding that you got to go direct, right? And 80 to 90% of your business has got to be there. You mess that up, you're dead, right? You're going to struggle or fail, and you're probably going to wonder why. Get that one done.
I think the easiest way
and you're on to the next.
to think about that is like, if you're going to go to the bank to get a loan, a small business loan for your business, and you're an artist or a photographer, or, you were going to go to a VC.
Move a little closer to your mic if you can. It's hard to hear you.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you try to do either or, go to a VC or go to a bank, and you're going to tell the bank and you're going to tell the VC, all of my sales channels are indirect, and I don't own my customer list, and anything could happen. Would you write the check? And they would all say, absolutely not. They would tell you to pound sand. They would say, we wish you the best of luck. We're not going to give you a dime, right? That would be how it would go.
Yeah. And so the way that I thought about that right there is that, this sums up almost every call that we're having.
Yeah.
It sums up almost every non-member call right there. It's like, do they get through the first? It's like, this is a series of doors, right? You got to get through the first door first, right? Have the right understanding about your strategy. Because think about this, Pat. What are so many people doing? They're spending years, all of their time and energy and mind share and even money to invest into the third-party world, which is a dead end, and it always gets pulled out from underneath you. So
it's nonsense. It's nonsense.
It's total nonsense. So if you don't know, wait a minute, that side is the gravy. The other side is what I got to spend my time, energy, and focus on. You will spend 10 or 15 years, doesn't matter how long, going down the wrong path and investing in the wrong area. And you will have gotten nowhere on the other path. You know what I mean? So you have to get that right. It's not optional. You have to get that right. So once you get that right, then you're like, okay, I'm going to build a direct business. How do I properly equip myself, right? Then you have people who are using generic websites, right? That they're using the wrong tool for the job. They're giving their customers a poor experience. Why would you do that? Why would you do that when you know that this is what you need to do, right? So you got to solve that. And then the second thing is you got to solve the marketing problem, right? So you're going to hit a wall somewhere in there, and you have to solve that marketing, the ongoing, the consistent, for the next 10 years, solve that marketing problem, right? And then that's how you're going to get there. So that's why you see the people who have gotten through the first door, they get to the second door and they kind of get hung up at that 5,000 to 20,000 range, and they're stuck on printing, they're stuck on marketing. You know what I mean? It's because they're wasting their time on all sorts of stuff that are involved in all of that.
It's such a recurring theme, right? You could even say 50 times, 75 times, I hear about all the time and energy and effort they put into a website, right? And they've got it just looking so beautiful, the way that they want it, and it's flawless, and it lays everything out. It's so wonderful. And then you ask, 95% of the time you ask, well, how much have you sold with it? And you know what? You'd expect a bell curve style answer there, right? You'd expect a bell curve style answer. A couple of people here or there that are saying, I'm doing really, really well. And then in the middle of the bell curve, I sold a couple of pieces. And then down here at the bottom, it's like I sold nothing. But it's not a bell curve, is it? There's been like
No.
one person that said they've sold decent. Everyone else is like, yeah, pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much nothing. Because it's the portfolio websites. Those that are actually like doing well, like there was that gal the other day, like $20,000 last year, you know, on her Squarespace site. That is like one of the biggest anomalies I've heard out of all of them. It just doesn't exist. So
and somebody like that,
you're working on nonsense, right? You're working on nonsense.
And then, you know, somebody like that, they actually equip themselves with a proper art gallery website. Oh my goodness. Like it, because you're like trying to push an elephant through like a pinhole. That's what you're doing. When you actually have like the tunnel for the elephant to walk through, it's just going to be like vroom, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's so this is a great lesson for all of you. Like what Patrick just said right there, for anybody listening right now, right? If your website, if you are married to your website and you love your design and you paid a designer and you spent all this time to do it and your website isn't selling anything, get rid of it.
Yeah. It's like,
it's not doing anything. It's not helping you.
You are so emotionally attached to it. And you
get emotionally attached to nothing.
Army.
Yeah. Like, and so right when you talk to them and you say, how much did you sell through it in 2019? I basically sold nothing. And it's like right there is when you put the pinprick into the balloon and the air starts coming out, right? Because for the first time in their mind.
In my own life, I've done that exact same nonsense.
I know. We all have. We all have.
10 times from the time I was a kid till now. Being a perfectionist and thinking it's so awesome, and then you get it there and you think it's so awesome, and then no one, and then finally somebody says it. Well, how much have you sold? And guess what? The emperor's got no clothes at that point.
Yep.
It's all BS at that point, right? Like, nothing. Okay, well then, are you in business to make money, or are you in business to have a pretty website? Which one is it, right? I'm in business to make money. I would like to support myself by my craft. Okay, then it's a conversation. But before that, it's not a conversation, right? Can you move my design? Can you move my design over to exactly what I've got on my old site to my new site? No, we cannot. You want to know why? Because it doesn't work. Why would we do that?
Why would we do that?
Money.
Yes, we know ours works. We know it works.
I just got my damn blood pressure up. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you.
But that's it. What we're talking about here is exactly the point about making sure you have the right strategy, right? Like these are the like I was saying, the doors. That's at least the way I'm explaining it right now. You got the first door, you got the second door. Those people are getting hung up on the second door where it's like, I want to hang on to my, generic website, right? Like, which is the wrong tool for the job. That like we live in the world in the age of customer experience. It gives the worst customer experience possible. It's below the industry standards. When you have thousands of photographers and artists that have the right tool for the job, and then all the big players that are out there all have it, you can't be below that industry standard and think that you're doing a good job for your customer, thinking that you're impressing your art buyers, thinking that it's going to make sense to charge the prices that you're charging or that you want to charge, or that you're building a great brand. You are literally cutting yourself off at the knees. Like, you got to stop that, right? So have the right strategy.
Yeah. And by the way, if you don't own everything, you are blowing it. That's the other myth, right? Like, you shouldn't own your own email list. You shouldn't own your own customers. All of the website traffic shouldn't be yours and your responsibility. You shouldn't be able to take that with you whenever you want. Like, you should own it all. We live in a day where there are no more damn gatekeepers that can stand in your way. And the people that don't own all of their stuff, it's like, oh, my business is going pretty well. Yeah, how many customers do you have? Well, I don't really have any customers because I can't email them or I can't call them. What? You have nothing. You have nothing. You are in rented land.
Yep.
Anyway,
yep.
Those are the rants. Those are the rants.
Yeah. Richard had a comment on there on Facebook. I own the website and the SEO. I can pick and choose my fulfillment partner. So can everybody.
I can't tell if he's a customer or if he's not a customer. Like,
I can't tell if you're a customer or not, but at Art Storefronts, you can pick your own fulfillment partner. It doesn't matter to us. We're here to get sales.
And you own the website, and you can pick and you own the SEO, and you own all of it.
Yeah, exactly. You own all of that. Exactly. So essentially we are in complete agreement. So that is the whole thing, right? So do you see what I'm getting at though? When you start really thinking about these non-customer Zoom calls that we're doing, and by the way, guys, we're doing another one tomorrow. Let's talk about that. Patrick and I are doing another Zoom session with non-members tomorrow.
What time is that one? Are we sticking to the same time we did?
Let's stick to the 9 Pacific, 11 Central on the Wednesday. That's what we've kind of been doing. Okay. So 9 Pacific, 11 Central, 12 Eastern. So if you guys want to join, if anybody on here wants to join and talk to Patrick and I for free, get some free art business consulting. Tell us what we want you to do is think about what your one biggest struggle is, right? The one thing that's holding you back, that you think is holding you back, and bring that to us. Let us unplug the drain. Let us help you get past that. We're finding these sessions to be just amazingly valuable. And people are staying on for like 2 hours. I mean, it's just incredible. People are coming for multiple sessions.
That's a good question. We should rant about that for a second, because that's like another interesting part of it. Like,
let's talk about
it. You know, and I love transparency, right? And it's a situation where you go online and you create content, and the first thing you're looking for is attention, right? Like, the most important thing is attention. Are people actually hanging around and spending time? If they are, you're winning. What's your next most important thing? Is it driving business results, right? But you can't have number 2 without number 1 if the attention's not hanging around. And as much as I think you and I are so good at video, it's such good look at people and all the rest, it wouldn't be the case if we weren't.
We don't think.
Yeah, we don't. We're over the target. That's why people are hanging around. And the target is, my old website's not working. I have a marketing problem. I've been floating around to marketplace to marketplace to marketplace. It's not working. All my offline revenue sources have dried up. I suck at marketing. And I actually want to build a business where I can support myself from my art and photography. It's not that difficult. Those are the issues. Everyone's got them. We know it. That's why you're hanging around and listening, right? Like, yeah, it's simple. It's so simple. And everyone has hard to move past. Like, we are doctors, and, you know, we're seeing patients constantly. And at this point in time, you know, you have a fever, and I know it's a fever. I can see you have flush and you got a temperature, and I know what's causing it. It's not that difficult. Like, it's only 6 or 7 different things, and everyone's got the problem. Everyone's got the same fever.
Yeah. And you know what? And going back to this whole thing about having the right strategy, these things that we're talking about here, like, this is like the greatest service that could be provided to the art industry. I'm dead serious, because it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, everybody is so off base about the strategic part of it, right? Like not having 80 to 90% of your business being direct, not knowing that that's what you need to do from the get-go. You know what I mean? Like, think about this, Pat. Think about how literally almost like 99% of the people that we talk to, you know, for the last 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever it is, they set out and everything is about selling through third parties, right? Essentially, like, they're not even thinking it through. And it's the same thing as me going, if I told you that I could show you like 50,000 photographers and artists where that plan failed, would you still go and do it? It's a failed battle plan, right? And then if I showed you on the other side, every single person, Pat, I'm at like 100%. Let's just say this: 100% of the photographers and artists that we know, our members, and even people that are not, okay? Like the Wylans of the world and the Peter Licks, right? Like the biggest ones, the most successful are following a direct strategy. End of story. Full stop. That is it. That is it, right? They don't sell through galleries. They have galleries, but they own their own galleries, right? They own their own. 80 to 90%, if not 100% of their sales is coming from the direct business model, okay? That's what they invested in. That's how they built, you know, and got to where they are at. So you got to get that right. You don't get that right, you're spending 10 years going down the wrong path. You have to understand that, and you have to get it right. If we can get that message to everyone, the whole industry changes. After that, then you know, like, okay, if I'm selling direct, I got to properly equip myself. How do I do that? If you're gonna build a swimming pool or dig a swimming pool, you're not going to use a spoon. You're going to use a tractor, right? Like, the right tool for the job makes a huge difference. We see it all the time. People come from a generic website that they have. They move over to art storefronts, and what happens? Their sales go, if they had existing sales, their sales go up. Oftentimes, if they have no sales, They actually start getting sales. Surprise, surprise. That's what happens when you give an amazing customer experience. Done, right?
It's truly baffling, right? Like, there's a book I love so much. It's called Ready Player One, right? And it's sort of like sci-fi virtual reality thing. And first time author, amazing book. And somehow Steven Spielberg directed the movie, and the movie came out like, I don't know, like a year ago or so. Anyway, it's like dystopian future. And you know, they're jacked into this world in virtual reality, and they're trying to solve this puzzle, right? And the puzzle is a car race, and you have to build the car race. You have to get to the end of it. And it's like this treacherous race where, you know, like Godzilla's in there throwing things off the track and everything else. And everybody lines up at the appointed time, and everyone just keeps going down the track and just getting destroyed. Godzilla gets them, the car rolls over, they blow up, they get shot in the sky, but everyone just keeps going the same damn direction, right? Everyone just keeps going the same direction. That's what the offline, that's what everyone does. That's what everyone in the art industry does. They just keep going that way, going that way, going that way. Finally, the one guy that cracks it, everyone steps on the gas to go forward, and he puts the car in reverse and hauls butt in reverse. And that was how that's how he solved it, right? He went a completely different direction. It's like, that's how bad the disconnect is. That's the level that the disconnect is at. It's that severe, because everyone just keeps driving the same way when it doesn't work. There is no promising big business at the end of that stupid road. You got to go a different way.
There's no consistent income. Do you remember how profound this was in that Zoom session? Like, just looking at people on video, when I asked the question, like, guys, has nobody ever told you this before? Like, seriously. And heads were shaking. No one ever told us that we needed to build a direct business. I don't know if you even caught that when I asked, because I was like, how is this not, like, this is common sense. But in the art industry, it is not. In the art industry, it is not. And there's so much BS that's out there that somebody comes into it, they talk to their friend, and the next thing they know, you know, they're being told to upload their images to Fine Art America, right? Or Saatchi Art, or one of these. And they're like, and then I got to go to galleries. Like, that's my business model. And it's like, oh my goodness, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. That's the thing, right? And so they go down that.
Sound like we're knocking any individual company or
we're not
platform, because I could care less. If any of them worked, we would be shouting their praises to the heavens, right? The success is all that matters.
Exactly.
All that matters in the whole equation.
For example, if a gallery can sell your work, you should be in that gallery. No problem, right? If any gallery, offline or on, it can sell your work and add value to you where you're not doing all the work for them, 100%, you're in those. That's what we're talking about. That should be the gravy. But everything else, every minute of your time, and your mind share and your thought process and how you educate yourself on business and marketing should be spent on building the direct business that you own. End of story. That's how you end up with consistent income. That's why nobody has it. Because how few of people, Pat, how few of people are actually working on a direct business outside of art storefronts? Every single person in art storefronts is. That's what we do. That's what we help people do, right? But outside of that, it's like, what, 1 in 100? 1 in 1,000?
Yeah, almost none.
Almost none. It's so rare when we're talking to everybody. It's so rare that they're actually thinking that way and doing it that way. So super interesting. Okay, so something else to announce, guys. For those of you who have known about us for a little while and you're thinking about joining Art Storefronts, we are running a summer special. It ends at the end of June, okay? That is 1 week from today, but you gotta request a demo if you're interested. You can do that. There's a link in this post, I think, that has the request a demo link. Is that right, Pat?
Yep.
Okay, so it's in there. That would be on Facebook or YouTube. If you're on Instagram, there's a link in the bio, request a demo. You can always just go to our website, artstorefronts.com. There's always a big button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen that says request a demo. Get your demo request in. It takes like 20 seconds. One of our team members will reach out to you, learn more about you, what your goals are, make sure you're a good fit, and they can show you everything that we do in like in a one-on-one screen share, go over all the pricing options, all that different stuff, and see if we can help you. Otherwise, in addition, tomorrow, again, we are running, Patrick and I, a Zoom session for non-Art Storefronts members, non-customers, okay? For us to talk about your strategy, what you're up to, what your biggest struggle is, you know, the one thing that you think is holding you back. We're doing that tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're on our email list and you like us on Facebook, because that's where we're going to be doing that session. So yeah, and you can get on the Zoom call and you can talk to us directly. We basically, like with Zoom, it has this raise a hand feature where you click this button and it lines everybody up, and then we unmute everybody one by one. We just go through the list and we get to chat with you directly about what it is. So I just encourage all of you guys to come. Like, don't hold back, come. People are staying on for hours at a time. Some people don't even ask us a question. They just listen. It's like group therapy, you know, combined with like group education. Like the knowledge of these things that is to be gained is just phenomenal. And that's why I think people are staying for an hour or 2 hours at a time. A lot of people we see come back for 2 or 3 sessions. So there's clearly a lot you can learn from your peers. You know what else I love about these sessions, Pat, is that the quality of the people that are coming on these things, right? It's like, if you come to one of those sessions, I already know that you're pretty much 99% a good fit for our storefronts. I already know, because I know you're serious.
You're at least committed. You're not sending me 25 images that you've taken that you haven't shown anyone else and begging me to look at it. Like, who does that, right? Like,
that's right. It's a sign that you care about your own future and your own business. If you don't care, how can you ask us to care, right? We want the people who care. We want that subset of the art industry, the photographers and artists who actually care and want to do something, right? Whether they only want to make 5 or 10 grand a year as a side business, or they want to be full-time and sell hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. You know, we want that subset of people who are going to care and understand that in order to build something that actually is of value, you're going to have to put some work into it. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that the truth or what?
Simple. It's simple.
It's so simple.
Yeah. You know, the easiest answer sometimes is the right answer. It's so simple.
It is. There's no get rich quick. There's no fish aren't going to jump into your boat. Like any business in any industry, you just have to do the same things that everybody else has to do. Surprise, surprise, Pat. Right? Yeah. Surprise, surprise. It's going to take you just as long as it does in every other industry to build a business.
Surprise, surprise. You're not selling a $1 million business in a box in 3 months. I can't believe it. I was going to
exactly.
I was going to take 2.
Sorry to let you down. Sorry to let you down, right? This is actually just reality. The sooner you get started on working on reality, the sooner you're going to find the success that is in it for you, right?
Yeah. All right, we leave it there. You got to do the Instagram Save It series thing.
No problem. All right, guys. So we will see you tomorrow. Again, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, 12 Eastern. Get on our email list. We'll send you the Zoom link. Okay. And then request a demo. Get it in if you want to get in before the end of the month. We're running a big sale right now, so it's a great time. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.